is a tip of the iceberg. That's just to show you how prevalent it is. If it can happen to her, think of the trickle down. I know a lot of people with brain tumors. It's the chemicals. Our bodies weren't meant to absorb these chemicals. Our bodies can't take it. It's not anything that nature made. So part of my next book is the food manufacturers are going to hate me. But anyway, we got to stop eating food with chemicals in it. I try to encourage my readers to grow a little garden, even if you don't have any space. Grow it in the window. The joy of growing something, the joy of picking fresh herbs and herbs. I interviewed Dr. Braverman. I was so fascinated by what he said about herbs and spices, that if you take your real food and add herbs and spices, you turn your real food into superfood. Wow. And then I started thinking about that. I thought, what's interesting is that we've gotten so used to the taste of chemicals that we have forgotten that nature has provided all the flavor we need, and that sage or turmeric or basil or cinnamon or any of the wonderful spices was the whole big plan of nature to put that on your food, to turn your food into superfood, antioxidants. It's incredible. And I've been cooking like this forever, but I've really just found out about the incredible benefits of turmeric. And I make a chicken with olive oil and turmeric that will drive you wild. And as I eat it, I think this is so exciting because it's like eating delicious, healthy medicine. So there's a lot of education that you all are doing that I can do in my small part, but it's a real exciting time to be alive, because in this day and age, to live this long and have wisdom and perspective, we people from 50 and 60 on are now productive members of society. We are no longer a drain on society if we jump on this fast-moving train. And that is a key element of why it's so important, not only so people are healthier, not only so that the government doesn't have to pay for the super health costs. If people are healthier and they eat better, we won't be as sick, we won't get as many diseases. But also we'll be productive. We will be adding to society, and rather than being a drain on society. See, nursing homes are a drain on society, a drain on the family, a drain on the family finances. Usually people go broke keeping someone in a nursing home who probably doesn't even know they're there. And this is a tragic thing. I know when my father was in the hospital, he signed one of those waivers that if he didn't want to be kept alive under any extraordinary circumstances. So when I went to the hospital, he had a stroke on the table, and he had a tube down. I said, no, he doesn't want to be kept alive. Please remove that. And they said, no, you have to have the feeding tube. I said, why do you have to have the feeding tube? It's a law in California, the nursing home lobby. I said, you're kidding. You can't take the feeding tube out. So as I'm trying to work through that red tape, 100 days is up, and I guess that's when his insurance are up, and they had a meeting with my mother that she would have to put her house up for sale to pay for the nursing home. And I said, this is such a racket. So that we don't have to get in this position, so that we don't have to put our loved ones in a nursing home. Wouldn't you love to have your parents with you, but whole, with brain, with health? That would be beautiful. I would love my parents to be around till they're 150. It's just hard when they can no longer think from Alzheimer's. We're all afraid of three things: cancer, heart disease, and Alzheimer's. In a way, having already had cancer, it takes away the fear of cancer. I almost feel like if I keep my body in an optimal level of health, if I sleep, if I eat right, if I avoid chemicals, if I avoid drugs, if I think good thoughts, that is my defense against cancer. Bioidentical hormones being a big part of it. My brain thinks I can make a baby. Remember, I'm out of eggs. But I have recreated a reproductive template, just the way my body made when I was young in optimal health. And I feel great. It's all deeper now. It's more than just putting back estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, DHEA. It's deeper. You know thyroid's a huge part of it. You know strengthening the adrenals are a big part of it. You know getting the cortisols down. We started the menopause clinics, and we realized that it was too limiting, that we wanted to go deeper into it. My booth is 3015. Come by and see me there. We just, in having meetings with the group, realized if I want more than estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, then why shouldn't everybody? It's the whole concert. It's going to the symphony. It's Zubin Mehta standing in front of the whole symphony, but what if Zubin Mehta didn't show up? I call him the cortisol. What if he didn't show up? And he's also the cortisol and adrenals. What if he didn't show up? Then the whole orchestra can play, because they're all fine musicians, but without the leader, they play discordant. And that's what happens in the internal song when one is off. And so by putting it all back, you get to have a life that I never thought was possible. I never in my life thought that I could feel this good at 61. I never thought that I'd be this happy at 61. I don't look at young girls and envy them. I find actually that they look at me and envy me. I have what I hope they want for later on in their life. It is blissful to have perspective. We're wiser now. Wisdom is one of the greatest gifts. Aging is a gift if you're healthy. But so few people are healthy as they age. And that's why I respect and admire all of you so much for what you're doing. You are leaders of the pack. You are leading the movement that is changing the face of medicine. And it had to happen. With the changing stress, just the stress of our everyday lives, and add to it the threat that we all feel in the back of our heads of, will it happen again? That's a lot of stress. Stress to achieve, stress, money stress, stress in everyday life, noise pollution, all this stress blunts hormone production. All the stress in today's life, all the pollution. We're facing the greatest environmental assault in the history of mankind. This has never happened before. We've never had chemicals like this before. Nobody knows what to do. That's why you're all here. That's why I so admire you. That's why I try to meet as many of you as I can and talk to as many of you as I can. I'm so happy I found an oncologist who believes in me, Dr. Julie Taguchi, and my belief that by taking bioidentical hormones in a perfect ratio, individualized for me, is the best defense against a recurrence. Do you know how comforting it is to find a doctor who's not fighting me on this? I loved my other doctors. I had to leave them because I said, we just have a different philosophy. And I adore you, but I can't stay anymore. And that is what's happening with women. What I heard in New York this week being out in the public is women have lost faith in their doctors. And that's a tragic thing because I know that's not what all doctors spend all that time in medical school and with all best intentions. But the world is changing. And the medicine that is 50 years old can't possibly be relevant today. Can't possibly be. They didn't have this kind of stress. We didn't live this long. We didn't have this technology. We didn't have this pollution. We didn't have Al-Qaeda. We didn't have any of these things that are such a part of today's life. So it makes sense, connect the dots, that we have to do it differently. And that's what you're doing here. It's incredible. I praise you. I respect you. I admire you. I like to talk to you. I think that curiosity at a time when you could sit in your office and make a lot of money is really admirable. And that it's changing so rapidly. Stem cells, nanotechnology. I wear nanotechnology patches almost every day for energy. It's just another little added thing, not a drug, amino acids. I like the idea of working like acupuncture, of loosening up and keeping the energy flowing, the chi. Makes sense to me. I use nanotechnology patches when I have an injury. When I over-exercise in yoga, you can get so many injuries in yoga. With a nanotechnology patch, I put one on the sternum, I put the other one on the pain itself. Goes away. That's an aspirin I didn't take or an Aleve I didn't take. I don't remember the last time. I guess the last time was Vicodin, when I had cancer. Okay, that's where drugs are great. When you need drugs, but that's probably 7 years ago the last time I had a drug. So it's possible.